What is up, all of my fellow horror fans out there? Immaculate is a brand new movie that just came out with Sydney Sweeney. The synopsis reads, an American nun embarks on a new journey when she joins a remote convent in the Italian countryside. However, her warm welcome quickly turns into a living nightmare when she discovers her new home harbors a sinister secret and unspeakable horrors. And that sounded pretty awesome, and so I went and saw it, and now it's time to talk about it. So today what I'm going to be doing is giving my full spoiler-free thoughts on the film. So you can relax, there's not going to be any spoilers, but before we dive in, make sure you smash like and subscribe if you're new here. And if you don't, then I guess any content that I make in the future is none ya business. None. I don't know. But okay, guys, when I heard that Sydney Sweeney was coming out in a brand new horror movie, I saw that this movie was very much just centered around her. And when it comes to horror, I'm not very naive. Like, Mia Goth turned in one of the best performances that I saw last year in Pearl. Like, I feel like horror has these performances that go unrecognized. I've seen Sydney Sweeney act in Euphoria. I know that she can hold it down. She's a phenomenal actress. And so, honestly, I was anticipating this movie quite a bit. I didn't listen to any noise outside of it. Also, there's kind of a whole side thing going on with this movie with Sydney Sweeney. Like, she cares about this. She has a lot of passion for it. She was actually so passionate about it that she acquired the rights to the script, and then she helped produce the movie. So she got this thing made. And all I'll say is just props to her for going that far and doing that. And this clearly was something that meant a lot to her. And so, yeah, my wife and I, we watched this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised as to how much I enjoyed it. If you're looking for a very scary time at the theater right now, this is the movie to go to. There are a lot of jump scares. I've actually already seen some reviews now after watching it of critics kind of bashing it for like, we didn't need so many jump scares and things like that. I absolutely loved it. That's something that I love about horror. I love that element to it. And there are a lot of them in this movie. Like, it feels like every 10 seconds sometimes. It's like, and you're like, oh my gosh. But from what you see in the trailer and kind of what the synopsis was saying there, Sydney Sweeney goes and she joins a coven of nuns over in Italy. And so she's from America. She goes to this coven, and this is kind of her journey. But as she goes along, some crazy stuff happens. Now, with the title of the movie being Immaculate, I'm not sure if you can guess kind of where this story goes. I actually didn't guess where this story goes, but it takes a turn about 20 minutes of the way in to where you're like, oh, so that's what we're doing here. And from then on out, things get very creepy and very, very weird. I think that the performances throughout this movie, everybody that was involved in this coven, there was the priest, there was Mother Superior, all of the different sisters, the cardinal that was there, like all of these people throughout this place, they were very, very creepy, and they all handled their roles very well. I think from the very beginning, you just get this sense that something is off in this place, and Sydney Sweeney does a great job of portraying this innocence that's coming into this thing blindly, and then slowly throughout it, things start to reveal themselves to her until things kind of just end up cracking in half, and it gets crazy. There's a lot of gory in this film, a lot of blood. There are moments throughout this thing that it almost feels like Saw or something. You're just like, oh my gosh. There's also some very claustrophobic shots within this thing, and I give a lot of credit to just the vision of this, the cinematography, as well as the sound. I felt like the sound design as well as composition for this film kind of blew me away. It gets you very involved with this story. You're on a very personal journey with Sydney Sweeney, and the music does so much to heighten that journey as well. As a Catholic myself, somebody that's very familiar with the church, a lot of these songs, like, these songs, and the way that they're used in this film, it's just very creative. It's very creepy, and I truly thought it added so much to the film. But as we go along, it really was just Sydney Sweeney all the way through. She takes this battle head on. She goes all the way through this journey, and there are two different moments that I would say that are kind of the crucial points in the film, and what they managed to capture emotionally was just freaking brilliant. There's one of them where she's standing in the middle of this church in front of everybody. She just had this gnarly realization that something's happening, and so she's standing there, everybody's singing, and she's crying, but she has to stand in front of the entire church. While she has kind of a cloak in front of her, she kind of looks like Mother Mary. It's this very ominous, strange scene, but she's just staring blankly and crying, and it's reminiscent to me of a couple scenes in Euphoria. Like, Sydney Sweeney does this type of stuff so well. But then fast forward to, there's a whole ending. The last half hour is super fast paced, brutal, and so much fun. But the very ending of this movie is very similar to the ending of Pearl, where you have a close-up shot of Sydney Sweeney, and there's all this stuff that happens before and after this moment, but You have the camera coming towards her, and she is just screaming, this guttural scream, and it lasts for so long. And I would implore you just to go to the theater for this moment alone, because I find myself comparing it to Pearl a lot, because there's that close-up of Pearl throughout the credits, and that's not exactly what happens in this, but it's very similar to that, and it's just this young girl just absolutely crushing a performance. And, you know, I think Sydney Sweeney gets a lot of hate. She gets way too much hate. I think there's a lot of people out there that truly haven't seen the performances that she's given. Euphoria being a big one. What she does in Euphoria is brilliant. Then you got White Lotus. I actually liked Anyone But You. I really did. It was a great rom-com. But she definitely is an actress that every project I go in, the movie starts, and I'm like, okay, Sydney Sweeney. And by the end of it, I'm like, gosh, man, Sydney Sweeney, she is so talented. That's crazy. And there's a lot to comb through with this story. What is it trying to say? There are a lot of different themes that you can just kind of try to pull out of it. I found myself thinking one thing, and I talked to my wife about it. She was thinking a completely different thing. You know, there's a lot that you can take from this story, and I think that's kind of the brilliance of it. But like I said, it is just kind of a very intimate journey. I'm happy that Sydney Sweeney got this made, and they got this movie out into theaters specifically. It's a very, very fun ride, and I would definitely recommend it. As for my Jones Vibe star rating, and I want to always let you guys know that this is based just purely on my enjoyment level of the movie, I'm giving Immaculate 4 out of 5 stars, no doubt. But guys, I need you to go down in the comments right now and let me know, do you plan on seeing Immaculate, or have you seen Immaculate? If you did, please let me know what you thought of it. Also, what are your thoughts on Sydney Sweeney as an actress? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. I read every single comment that comes in. Also, if you enjoyed this movie review, please smash like as well as subscribe if you're new here. Feel free to click on another video. You can follow me on X at Jones Vibes Only, and don't forget to keep up the good vibes, guys. But I would almost go to lengths to say that this movie was immaculate.